So I don't actually think I have time to sound check, guys. This is insane. So first and foremost, the title of this video is the Nintendo Switch Pro is a lie that YouTubers tell you in January. Literally, we'll see if I can actually get that all to fit in the title of this video. I'm going to tell you guys why I'm excited, but easily as I tweeted out, especially about the Switch OLED, whatever. I'm dyslexic and I struggle with words, so why not start a YouTube channel where I talk to you guys? Welcome if you're new here. My name is Brian, this is Ginger Prime. Returning subscribers, you are freaking legendary, magnificent. You know what? It is what it is. I'm excited. And at the same time, some massive disappointments people are having today, especially as it relates to the new OLED Nintendo Switch. We're going to just dive in and kind of talk about some tweets. We're going to highlight the video itself. I'm going to hopefully mute that because I'm going to guarantee that Nintendo's going to try to claim some of this stuff because it is Nintendo. That is what they do. They've gotten a little bit better, but anyway, we're going to just kind of jump into this. So I tweeted out that heck yes, they actually hit all of my issues with the OG Switch right out the gate. Ethernet port, which it seems so small, but the fact that you have to have a dongle on the current dock is an issue. Also, just for full disclosure, this is not something typically I cover. I'm just really excited. I game on my Switch 99% of the time in docked mode, and I've honestly really wished that we just had a standalone version that connected to the TV. Just literally just let that live out there. Have fun, call it a day. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hit watch again, and I'm going to switch over into the better cam so you guys get a little bit bigger picture. If you haven't seen this video, note that I will try to include a link in the description as well. Clearly, we're getting a new Switch. It's called the OLED model. They're highlighting it here. I think the white color that they're showing off right now is immensely gorgeous, and obviously showing off Metroid Dread, which they just revealed at the latest Nintendo event. Why didn't they reveal this at E3? Well, because why compete against everything else? Like, literally control the news cycle. That's what's happening today. PlayStation's got an event coming up this Thursday, but they're increasing the overall size of the screen, which you just see right there. I think that's a really good choice. I said that in a reply on Twitter, literally, this will take me from playing the Switch 99% of the time docked, maybe down to 90% of the time docked. This video doesn't answer any questions about whether the battery life is improved, but I would venture to bet maybe. There's a good chance of that because even in the updated system that they did. Now I'm going to pause it right here because this is actually really important. If you guys, anybody who's used the OG Switch before, if you're not using a Switch Lite, which the Switch Lite is a really masterful design. As a parent with kids, that's where it's at. That's what I'm excited to see. But with the adjustable stand, the way that it has it, it reminds me of the Surface systems. When I got this, I was like, man, how cool would the Switch be in terms of its stock if it actually used that Surface design, which gives you that full range, that full flexibility of how it's docked. So I'm excited to see this. I am excited about the OLED model. We'll talk about people's disappointments with this in this video as well. I don't want to just highlight like, hey, Brian, because everybody loves and has issues with Nintendo. Nintendo does what Nintendo does, and that's just going to be how it is. And then obviously playing Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury, which me and my kids have been just enjoying pretty much almost every weekend together playing that game. So here you can see the full range of that dock, having it kind of slide there. That screen and that system just looks massive in these videos. I don't know if they're using tiny people, smaller people than normal, but it does look like that stands out. And here's the Ethernet port, which should have been included in the OG model. Hands down, the fact that it wasn't was a frustration. Nintendo has treated online like it's a fad, even though they're like, we're in on online. It always just feels like there's always these extra hurdles, these extra steps. And yes, it has Wi-Fi, but having that dedicated, connected system allows for so much, so many more options to come to the system itself. But beyond the screen itself, now they're just kind of showing some stuff like regarding like, hey, don't forget, you can still use the Wii Fit and all of that as a part of that Ring Fit. Never played it. They was playing some Smash Brothers. That makes perfect sense. Showing off the controllers. Yeah, like there's not a Switch Pro in this announcement, and thus the name of the video. This Nintendo Switch Pro, guys, I wish existed. I've said this, you guys, if you're new again, like you might not catch the humor in the title, and hopefully it's, it's humorous. It makes you kind of laugh because there isn't a Switch Pro here, but it feels like there is a YouTube requirement, and it's why, like, it's a requirement every January. It's been a requirement every January that this is the year of the Switch Pro, the Switch Pro, the Switch Pro. And I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I've never seen the evidence that Nintendo is following that model. Nintendo doesn't follow Microsoft or Sony and how they do their business. This is just looking like another kind of step upgrade, a hardware upgrade. Yes, some improvements. DSi, maybe in that regards. Yes, some improvements to the overall system, to how it feels, to how it handles. I'm really hoping that it's durable. In this case, it's also October the 8th. That's going to be when it goes on sale. So no news yet on pre-orders themselves. But here we go. I'm going to talk. Let's highlight some tweets here. Okasami-san says, controller drift, battery life, processing power, Joy-Con stability, disconnecting. I'd even buy the dock solo if they already hadn't brought a Nintendo LAN adapter. I'm pretty mid to me, but also I am in dock mode 99% of the time. You and me, we play the same way. Now, these are some really concerns, right? Like, my Switch is drift, like awful drift. And thus, I usually play with the Switch Pro controller in dock mode. The Switch Lite runs just fine. We haven't had any issues with it. And I was debating on getting another Switch Lite maybe this summer as my kids get older and we're playing more games together. But now I'm like, no, I'm just gonna get the OLED model. Maybe use my current Switch upstairs and kind of it's like living in its dock mode, or who knows, maybe I'll trade it in or something like that. I haven't fully decided. But let's go ahead and explore some more of the replies that I've got. Annie says, well, I'm happy that you're impressed. And the implication here is that they're not impressed, that they're hoping for a Switch Pro. And I understand that. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what Nintendo decides to do next hardware. But my grand theory about Nintendo's next hardware move is cloud. And maybe you don't like to hear that, and I understand. But if I was Nintendo, and the future is cloud, and you have this portable device, you refresh that, you have a hardware line that taps into that as a service. That's what I would be spending my investment dollars in, rather than coming out with a physical system. Allow for that to say, yep, we know in the next decade that the internet is going to be more widespread, that gaming is already possible on the cloud. That's where it's going to be, that's where it's going to live, that's how it's going to go. Let's put our money into that. Let's either partner with Microsoft, Google, or Amazon. I doubt Nintendo's going to build their own cloud, but I know whatever they do build as a part of like those hosting services, it's going to kind of get there. It's almost going to hit the mark. That's going to be how it is. So Levy says, is this the OLED version of the rumored Switch Pro? The rumored Switch Pro, I can't, I want to be wrong. I don't think it's ever going to exist. I don't think it exists. If it ever does exist, it's just going to be another hardware refresh off of what they're showing here for October. That, or Nintendo's playing a great slow drip bleed of a game where like you get the OLED version this year, and in 2 years you get OLED 2 version, and then by the time you would classify it as a 4K, I think that's still going to be cloud streaming as well. And it's just the OLED version. I ended up saying that Nintendo Switch Pro is a lie YouTubers tell you in January. And that's essentially where we get to the title of this video. Like I said at the beginning, I don't believe it. I wish it was true. I hope that if you are disappointed by the OLED model, that there's something good for you to find in today. I know this probably is going to get a lot of crap. So if you made it this far, be sure to hit that like button, offset the people who think I'm controlling or assume that like I have some kind of say in it. I am excited about the OLED model. I have an OG Switch, bought on day one. This I feel is like a perfect time for me to refresh my hardware, dive back into playing some Switch games, and maybe spend about 10% of that time playing in handheld mode. I think, again, what's going to be happening in the course of the grand scheme of it is the Switch Pro is going to be something that maybe you don't expect in that terms where it connects into your existing hardware. And one of the big weaknesses that I've struggled with on the current Switch is its processing power, its Wi-Fi capability, and more. But anyway, that's just one internet guy's theory. That's just my thoughts on today's announcements. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to say howdy, how hoo hoo. That was just kind of me tripping over everything again. Spell it however you want in the comments, the way you know you made it to the end of the video. Guys, for Ginger Prime, my name is Brian. Thanks to all the members who support these videos, support the podcast, and support the guides that I enjoy making the most. I got a couple of videos I'm working on for you guys this week. Hopefully you look forward to them. Hopefully I'll see you on Thursday for a special edition of the podcast where we dive into Final Fantasy XI retrospective as we look towards the 20th anniversary of the game. Anyway, guys, love you faces. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. Hope to see you in my next video. Until then, take care.